Shaftesbury Town Council has talked confidently about becoming greener. The Town Hall declared a climate emergency in July 2019 and formed a working group with members of the community to draw up a plan for action.
At the recent meeting of the Town Council's Environmental Advisory Committee, volunteers discussed the Sustainable Shaftesbury Vision Statement and Master Plan, which lists several completed actions. A public meeting was held in 2024 to gauge local interest in energy-saving measures, and careers events at Shaftesbury School in 2025 promoted opportunities in retrofit and renewable energy. An allotments policy was published in 2025 and shared with plot holders, and Planet Shaftesbury produced a guide to local retail and hospitality businesses sourcing local produce. Some eco-cleaning products have also been introduced in the Town Hall kitchen. Dorset Council's Active Travel Delivery Plan, approved in January 2026, includes proposals for 20-mile-per-hour zones in Shaftesbury, where locally supported. Those are all achievements, but not all members are satisfied with the presentation.
But that green narrative has been challenged from inside one of the council groups itself. Members of the Town Council Committee, SUSAC, or the Sustainable Shaftesbury Advisory Committee, have warned the Town Hall could be accused of greenwashing when an organisation promotes itself as environmentally responsible when its actual policies or actions do little to reduce its environmental impact. The disagreement surfaced as the committee reviewed its Sustainability Action Plan. It covers 10 areas, including energy, travel and transport and biodiversity. Next to each action is a status column and a new delivery-to-date panel, explaining what's actually happened and who's responsible.
There are things in here that are not bad ideas necessarily, maybe aspirational, but definitely aren't happening.
Gideon King spoke at the SUSAC meeting in February.
It does smack a bit of, dare I say it, greenwash, if all of these things that look good are in there, but actually, year after year, we change the wording. There's no progress on any of these things.
Meeting Chairman Richard Thomas said it was reasonable to list potential actions even when they're not yet delivered.
This is aspirational, so some of the things on the action plan, which is an action plan, may not happen, but they should. And that's why they're in the action plan.
For example, Gideon cited the ambition of a Shaftesbury to Gillingham cycleway as something widely supported, but which never seems to move beyond the planning.
I don't think it's got very far.
If for example, the Shaftesbury to Gillingham cycleway is something we want to do, we shouldn't say, oh, it's never going to happen, so we take it out. We should keep it in there. I don't think I'm not into greenwashing.
There would be a merit in whittling down actions to things that are achievable and realistic.
But SUSAC member Christine Strickland said the concept of a cycleway linking our town with a train station was finally gaining attention.
Dorset Council had not prioritised this cycle route for about 10 years, and even as recently as, I don't know, a year ago, it still wasn't on the cards. But consultation with Dorset Council, the transport guy there, they have upgraded it to what they want to do.
SUSAC member Lucy Young said as the document covers actions over the next 5 years, it is reasonable to keep undelivered schemes within it, although she wouldn't want to give the impression that goals have already been met.
The plan that runs to 31, it's okay to have some things that are aspirational, but I'd also be concerned if it looks like greenwashing.
That's really the point I'm making. I obviously love the idea of a cycleway. Shaftesbury to Gillingham. It's terrible that there isn't a safe way of cycling between the two towns. So there's nothing philosophically I'm against.
There's been a lengthy Town Council debate about verge cutting. The Town Council has voted for its contractor to take on cutting the longer grass areas on Ivy Cross and Royal Chase roundabouts, including verges on the B3081 and A350, using a cut and collect method. But, as interim Town Clerk Billy Maddock confirmed, it'll be carried out once a year.
It was once in the autumn.
Cut and collect removes the clippings, and by clearing decomposing grass will reduce soil fertility, and that encourages meadow species rather than coarse grass. One member of SUSAC is a professional ecologist. Mike Cummings was unhappy with a once-a-year cut instead of twice annually.
Which isn't in line with the wildflower management policy.
Mike said it would look less well kept, and by not removing grass regularly, it'll be harder for wildflowers to flourish.
It will make it look less tidy than it does at the moment, being managed by Dorset County Council, cut and collect twice a year, whereby the council was saying that they wanted it to look neat and tidy, but the proposal that's gone through is 50% less tidy than it is at the moment. I find that frustrating. And it's almost pointless SUSAC advising or pretending to advise on these things and talking about these things in our action plans.
He also warned that ignoring the advice of the environmental specialists on the SUSAC committee could strengthen the charge of greenwashing.
So my objection with the whole thing is that firstly, SUSAC weren't consulted on it yet. We've been consulting on this and talking about it every single month since. For 8 years, I've been banging on about these wildflower verges, 8 years on this council and open spaces before that. And to be totally not consulted, not talked to about any of this before it then went to a council resolution.
On the Sustainability Action Plan, there's a traffic light system indicating status, with green for work completed or underway. And Mike Cummings was clear in his view.
All of the biodiversity stuff on there should be turned to red. It is just pure greenwash because we're not doing it. I have not commented on the biodiversity section out of principle because I'm not having anything to do with the greenwashing exercise. If Shaftesbury Town Council want to do some good things for wildlife in the future, I'm really happy to help. I'm not going to get involved with a policy that says that we're doing things and has got little green tick boxes saying, yeah, we're doing this, that, the other, all the way down the list, and we're not doing any of it.
Meeting Chairman Richard Thomas.
We have an action plan which has been agreed by the council. It doesn't mean to say that everything is going to be done immediately, and as you well know, the councils work incredibly slowly. It doesn't seem to me to be a reason to sort of say, well, I'm going to ignore it or not support it, because inevitably you've got to be a bit patient and try and push things. And part of our role is part of our terms of reference. If the council are not doing things, it's part of our job to say, why aren't you doing it?
Mayor, Councillor Virginia Edwin-Jones.
If you have been unhappy with how things have been done in the last 2 years, in all honesty, I have not been aware of that. I really haven't. So it did come as a comment that just came totally out of left field.
But Lucy Young told Virginia those concerns had been communicated.
I do find it quite incredible that, Virginia, you didn't know anything about any of the concerns that have been raised over the last couple of years around some of the management plans, the grass cutting, and I think John's here. I mean, he's raised it several times at meetings. So that's kind of a bit in the past, but it has been quite a concern, and the management plans, again, which is still, I'm lost as to quite where they're at and what's happening and how we're involved, and the fact that it wasn't discussed with SUSAC. It felt in a great shape because there's a lot of very knowledgeable people on this council.
Lucy said there's also been an issue with tree management.
The tree cutting is also massive. I mean, there's been quite a lot of examples over the last couple of years where things have happened, and again, it's not about blame. It's just about something has not been managed quite right, and the wrong thing, and that's not in line with the policy and/or not great for the environment that's happened.
Interim Town Clerk Billy Maddox said there was a plan to discuss wildflower management with SUSAC.
One of the resolutions says to liaise with, to increase wildflowers, to liaise with the grounds contractor and SUSAC to investigate stages of wildflower planting on verges and to move to a twice-a-year cutting regime. And also, this wildflower policy was adopted in 2021, so it definitely needs reviewing anyway. It needs to work for everyone. It needs to work for residents, for the council, it needs to work for the contractor.
Lucy suggested the Town Council may need to allocate funding for management plan work.
The point now is really how we make sure going forward that the process is a little bit more transparent and it works for all of us, really. So maybe if it's something that's quite important to council, which I'd imagine it was, if there's an issue around, maybe we need to propose some funds to pay someone to actually look at the management plans. But
Interim Town Clerk Billy Maddox said the difficulty is that work is carried out by a contractor and the terms of what he must do were set out in the contract.
SCC's in the contract with the grounds contractor for 5 years, in his third year, and he quoted on what was given to him at the time. So sure. Whatever you want to change, we have to be mindful that he's in the contract with what SCC approved at the time. And also, if you are so unhappy about the grounds contractor or his work or the work that's happening, then please send me some more examples apart from just what's happening in wildflowers, because it seems that you're very happy with how SCC is managing its grounds overall.
And while SUSAC has been set up to advise the council on environmental decisions, Billy Maddock made it clear that it can't be involved in every green or open space related decision.
Quite frank, we are a council. I can't run everything past SUSAC. We won't get anything done.
Despite the disagreement, the committee continued through the action plan and agreed future review dates for appendices, including the wildflower policy, which will be reassessed again in February next year. The dispute wasn't about whether goals are worthy, it was about whether the green indicators in the document reflect real-world delivery or simply intent. And for at least two advisors around the table, that distinction goes to the heart of trust.